Tropical storm force winds that brought some trees down and knocked power out to thousands here just in St. Lucie County. We want to quickly pan off out of the parking lot here of the hotel we're staying at, about 5 to 7 miles off the eastern coast. You can see some scattered debris here, but nothing nearly as significant as some people were worried about. Now, we have had dozens of people that sheltered in at this hotel we stayed at overnight, locals that are now working to try and get back to their homes to assess damage. Of course, that could take days. Meantime, the effort to restore power here will be a big push as this day pushes forward, with power crews on their way to help the thousands that had the lights off around midnight and still have no power. On scene in Fort Pierce, Jason Lanning. Now back to you.
And right now, 9 minutes past the hour, let's head back to the Weather Center with meteorologist Alan Winfield and Chief Meteorologist Mike Clay. What's the latest update?
Well, you know, it looks like, Erica, we're starting to get a little bit more of an onshore wind here, so we're looking at our beach cam review, and the waves are picking up at St. Pete Beach with that onshore wind. That's going to continue all day. It's going to be breezy to windy at times on our coast, but we're also watching what's going on with Mathew over on the east coast. But, you know, as it goes northward, our winds are going to begin to shift a little bit around here today.
Right, and it's interesting. Several hours ago, we had hardly any wave action out there whatsoever, but you get that onshore trajectory, and now the wave heights are picking up. It's obviously not the best beach day, although it's fun for folks to walk out there and see the Gulf of Mexico in the state. Usually the Gulf is relatively placid, so when you get waves, it's kind of an anomaly that everybody gets interested in seeing.
And as we go over to Clystron 9, you can see Alan and I have been kind of seeing a little bit of a trend here to a more northward movement of the eye as it moves up towards Daytona. And notice how the coast kind of curves back to the west. And so because of that, it looks like it's going to be a little bit further offshore. That eye wall touched around Titusville and the Cape earlier. But now, you know, Alan, it looks like it's going to go by Daytona with that eye wall just offshore, and that's great news for Florida.
Yeah, again, this has been such a close call with this storm. The storm, thankfully, is moving offshore and maybe pulling, as you just mentioned, a little bit further away. And as a result of that, well, that could spare some of the worst type of devastation we might have seen up in northeast Florida. So good news for them. It's been good news for central Florida, where it was offshore early this morning. Let's just hope it continues to behave that way. Let me show you the wind speeds out there right now. The numbers in yellow are the recent wind gusts, and on average across the Tampa Bay area, we're seeing winds around 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting at times to nearly 30, but of course we can handle that. On the other side of the state, the winds are starting to calm down. Early this morning, places like Melbourne having wind gusts of nearly 80 miles per hour, same thing with Fort Pierce, and now those winds are looking a little better, just gusting into the 40s. Here at Sanford, the wind is gusting to nearly 50 miles per hour, but at this point, you would have to head on up to northern Brevard County, coastal Volusia County to really find any hurricane-force winds. For the rest of the state, things again are starting to look pretty good. As far as those hurricane-force winds, this is a model that shows us in red where those are located right now, and it shows in yellow and orange on average where the tropical storm-force winds are. Notice in the Tampa Bay area, none of that affecting us. As time goes on, the model takes all that off to the north, and as a result, our weather continues to be good around here, so no major concerns for the Tampa Bay area. It's possible in some of the heavier showers, especially in Polk County, that could tap into some high winds aloft. You might briefly get a wind gust of 45 miles an hour, maybe a little bit higher, but that'll be more the exception. Here's how your forecast plays out today. Showers and at times a little gusty out there, but the good news is drying out much later on. High temperatures will be in the low to mid 80s. And of course, we'll be back in less than 10 minutes to extend that forecast out. There's some good news on the horizon, getting cooler and drier, and it's only a couple of days away. I'll have the 7-day forecast for you coming up at about 9:19.
With more than 400 real-time traffic